you just produce 1,500 sperms. And now 3,000. And now 4,500. And now 6,000. 7,500. What I'm trying to mean here is per second, you produce 1,500 sperms. By the time you're done with this video, you might be approaching millions of them. They should tell you that in a day, you produce close to 130 million sperms. In one ejaculation, you give out 200 to 300 million sperms. Ironically, you just only need one to make a baby. Let's assume Brian is in Equatorial Guinea and decides to have sex on a daily basis. What will happen to him? By now we covered what will happen to men when they stay for long without sex, and also women. Today we're going to look at what will happen to you when you have sex on a daily basis. And I'm going to replace that. I'll focus on ejaculation. Ejaculation can be through sex or masturbation. So when you do this on a daily basis, what will happen to your body? Should be interesting because, like you have seen, you produce a lot of sperms. But do you have a limit? Now let's start with semen. What will happen to semen? Remember, the king is in there. Those are the sperms. Now the sperms, like we said, there is no shortage of them. You are going to have so many of them, so nothing mostly will happen. But now let's do some quick maths. In a single day, that's 24 hours, you will produce around 130 million sperms. In one ejaculation, you give out 200 to 300 million sperms. Meaning that one ejaculation will slightly go beyond what you're going to produce in a day, in as much as you're going to make up for that in some few minutes later, not some few minutes, some few hours later. So you're going to notice a slight reduction in the production. But don't worry about this, because when you go to the WHO recommendations for the values or the parameters that are required for semen analysis beyond which you are normal and below which you are abnormal, it's actually going to still be on the upper side. But there is something that can affect your fertility, and we are going to see that when it comes to where do you get actually the other compositions or the other components of the semen. Like we said, semen will contain several components and they come from different parts of the reproductive system in men. It's teamwork. Now let's get away from the testes. We are done with the sperms. We have bulb or urethra, which will give the mucoid appearance of the semen. This is to facilitate reduction in friction. This is not actually physics, so it makes the way slimy and the sperms can easily swim through. So what will happen to this will be a slight reduction in the composition of that sliminess. When you stay a little bit longer without any sexual intercourse, it might look thicker and slimier because you have more of that. Now let's go to the second gland, seminal vesicle. This will give several things. Ignore those. They are quite important, by the way, but let's go to fructose. Fructose is quite important because this one will provide the energy. Actually, the preferred source of energy for sperms is fructose. This will come from fruits. This means that men benefits more from fruit and actually directly from fruits compared to women. I'm not saying that it's actually not important for women to take fruits. If the plan is to have that on a daily basis, make sure that you're on top of your fructose. Also, something else that we can never ignore are prostaglandins from the same glands. Usually go and prevent the immune system of the lady from attacking the sperms. Remember, the sperms are the king and the queens here because you have X and Y. And also we have several things that sperms usually do to the lady. We're going to talk about that in a separate video. Quite interesting. Get subscribed, by the way. Anyway, gland number 3, this will be prostate. It will give also components that will go into the semen. One of such will be zinc. This will be affected, by the way, if you have sex on a daily basis. Remember, we said that fructose will be affected and this will affect the longevity of the sperms, because now if you don't provide enough energy for the sperms, they might not be able to swim as well because there is not enough energy, and also even staying longer might be an issue because you don't have enough of the resources that are required to keep them alive. Now let's go to the zinc that will come from the prostate. Zinc usually stabilizes the DNA containing chromatin. And this is supposed to tell you one thing, that if you deplete zinc in your body without replenishing enough of that, you're going to be infertile. And this is the reason. Number 1, the fragility of the sperms, meaning that something slight like the change in pH, you're passing through urethra, urine usually pass through there. that it is so acidic. In as much as you have phosphatases that will come and neutralize that area, it might not be as perfect as will be required, meaning that a slight change might affect the sperms because they are so fragile. And also remember, you have lactobacilli in vagina, making that area to be very acidic. I know there will be a red carpet because after foreplay, the lady will have secretions that will neutralize her area, creating a red carpet for the sperms so that they can pass there comfortably without being affected. But a slight change, like slightly drying up, might affect the sperms and they might be fragile, meaning that this is going actually to affect your fertility. This is supposed to tell you that if your plan is to have sex on a daily basis, okay, ejaculation on a daily basis can go both ways, either masturbation or sex. I highly discourage having masturbation on a daily basis because of the reasons we've already shared. Sex, on the other side, okay, maybe it's an incentive, maybe it's a reward, it's a blackmail, maybe it's a weapon of mass destruction, or maybe it's a threat, whatever. But sex is so good, by the way. Sex is the reason why we are here, because it existed before IVF and other things. The second thing will be affected by having less zinc due to frequent ejaculation and not replenishing the zinc reserves in your body. The production of the sperms will be affected. There might be a reduction in the one quality, by the way, because DNA fragmentation will be affected by less zinc in the body. Like I said, if you want to have sex on a daily basis, make sure you have enough of zinc. And holistically, health-wise, you need to eat better. When everything else is kept constant, nothing will happen to your fertility. You'll be able to impregnate someone on a daily basis for as long as you're going to live on this planet. You can be able to do that. Thing number 2 that will happen to your body when you ejaculate on a daily basis. This is dependent on the method that you use to arrive at this, which is ejaculation. When you do masturbation on a daily basis, the first thing will be the method. Definitely, you're going to get something that you're going to rub yourself against. When you do this on a daily basis, sensitivity might reduce, and you might find that people usually get to have premature ejaculation. So you might find that your lady is complaining. Others will take forever. It's a very interesting topic. By the way, we're going to focus on masturbation in itself. YouTube actually don't like such topics. I know they can be quite uncomfortable, and that's actually the reason I'm doing that, because they are quite uncomfortable. So not many people are talking about this, and we need to have a conversation around this so we get to understand exactly what's going on with our bodies so that we can make better use of our bodies when we have the right information. That's the reason I'm here, and that's the reason why I would want you to like and subscribe. Now, branching off from masturbation to actual sex, I'm assuming this is Mogaka and Mwende. They want to have this on a daily basis. Yes, sensitivity will reduce, yes, but not significantly compared to when you are getting masturbation. Slightly. And again, it's bothersome. Thing number 3 that will happen, response time. Now, this goes 2 ways. The first one is where majority are, is you stimulate your body each and every time. Next time it's kind of alert, so it will take less time for you to be sexually prepared, especially ladies. Others will go the other route. It takes a little bit longer for the body to be ready for the act because kind of bored. Kind of like the same thing that when you go to the washroom and maybe you are doing a number 2, that is the smell. If you stay there long enough, there is nothing changing, assuming that there is no air freshener, you will find that the smell kind of disappears. This is because you're getting used to the stimuli. The same thing might happen here, where you find that due to the same stimuli each and every time, the brains will tend to ignore that stimuli, so you tend to even invest more to make someone sexually aroused next time, the following day, because this is on daily basis. So yeah. Thing number 4, fertility. I know we mentioned something on fertility when it comes to the semen volume and composition. Zinc, don't forget about zinc. And also fructose. But we have several other things that might happen when you get to have masturbation on a daily basis each and every time. Remember, this is very, very accessible. You might get erectile dysfunction. This is excessive masturbation. And from the analogy that I gave, repeated stimulation might make your brains ignore that thing. When you have so many messages going to the brain with the same information, your brains kind of get tired and put everything on silent mode. So you find that either you're struggling to get an erection, or when you get an erection, you're not keeping it long enough, or you start getting premature ejaculations. Thing number 5, prostate cancer. I know we've covered some of this, that when you ejaculate more, 21 times in a month, and actually we've looked at a study which was focusing on 21 and more ejaculations in a month will lower the risk of having prostate cancer. There is a theory that kind of tried to explain the reason why when you ejaculate, you reduce the chances. This is to try to unlodge whatever is in there to give room for production from new material from there. So unclogging the system to try to make it better and cleaner. Don't know how true this is, but we are going to have a dedicated video on prostate. I think there we're going to have more information, and by now you understand how important the prostate is. Technically, it's a major contributor when it comes to the fertility, because without zinc and some other components that usually come from the prostate, you end up reducing the quality of the sperms and the quality of the semen that you're giving out. So yes, there is a correlation between having more ejaculations and having lower risks, but we are not sure yet. So take that with a grain of salt. Okay, with a bucket of salt. Thing number 6, diseases. Now, we have STIs and we have UTIs. The more you get to ejaculate or to have sex, you increase chances of getting UTIs and STIs. And this is one of the reasons that people usually prefer masturbation to sex, because masturbation, they're not going to get STIs and UTIs. But in sex, you increase chances of the same. This still does not make me recommend masturbation to you. Get to have sex. No, leave out masturbation. Now let's go to sex. UTIs might go high. Remember, UTIs might not necessarily come from sex, especially when it comes to ladies. Hygiene can also contribute, and you can also get that from them sexually. STIs, the same, might go high. Let's take a scenario like that in Equatorial Guinea. Now you get to meet so many partners along the way, you increase chances of getting STIs and UTIs also, especially as a man. Thing number 7. Okay, we say that you're going to talk about women in a separate video. But anyway, when you deposit your semen in the vaginal canal, in addition to you can potentially make them pregnant, what are the things, what are the other effects that sperms will have on a woman's body? Because I've seen people talking about, hey, it will make your hips grow. It'll do this to your body. It'll make you gain weight. Are they true? We are going to, okay, yeah, this is blackmail. This is how blackmail looks like. Okay, we're going to talk about all that and what will happen and if that is actually true in the separate video. Anyway, I'm not doing this on purpose. It's because I don't want to put so much information in one video and you end up getting bored along the way to make the video so long, and I want to make it shorter and sweet for you to understand. Try to invest in making it a little bit funny for you to try to enjoy along the way, because I don't want you to drop halfway. Want you to enjoy, in as much as I know that you're going to have issues with YouTube each and every time because of the topics that I'm choosing nowadays. In conclusion, keeping everything constant, nothing will happen to your fertility. If you can have even 2 times in a day, nothing much will happen, so long as you provide your body with the resources that you need in that semen. Semen, we say it's a composition of so many things. Anyway, if you loved this video, you might as well like the video. We talked about what will happen to your body when you stay for long without having sexual intercourse, males and females. And if you like what you're doing, you can as well subscribe at it so that you get to be notified. See you in the next video.